First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Srinivas and Dr. Prasad Garg for giving me this opportunity to speak in this podium. I'll be talking about how to manage a complex pelvic fracture. This is extremely a large topic, but I'll try to cover as fast as possible and the basic points alone. Okay, it's a little slow. Yeah, majority of these pelvic fractures, what we see, are low frequency or not complicated, but some of them, what you get, are they don't do really well. You have a lot of complications associated with them, and there's high mortality with them. These fractures of pelvic fractures are generally associated with other organ injuries. So the treatment becomes complex in these cases. So the mortality is divided like 1/3 it is because of head injury, 1/3 because of bleeding, and 1/3 because patients develop multi-organ failure during the period of treatment. It has been shown that if you increase your number of transfusion, the mortality rate increases. That means if you bleed more, then you're likely to give more amount of blood, so your mortality increases. And the more you give transfusion, that means the likelihood of developing a multi-organ failure later is also high. So what is the crux is you stop bleeding in these cases. That is the main aim of your treatment. So once you have resuscitated through your initial phase, you have to stratify your patient based on your monitoring and lab values into stable or intermittently stable or extremist group. Coming to extremist group, these are where your resuscitation doesn't work, they don't respond to it, you don't have time for workup, you just ask for a massive transfusion protocol, you put him on a mechanical ventilator, and you rush him to the theater to do a laparotomy or a thoracotomy, aortic clamping, and pelvic packing. There's a transient responders are the ones where your perfusion of the tissues is happening because of your sustained resuscitation. If you stop the resuscitation, then they will go back. So in these cases, you can plan for a diagnostic workup to find out where the bleeding is happening. What are the tests you can do? You can do a fast examination, you do a chest x-ray, a pelvic x-ray, and most of the time you do a whole body scan nowadays because it gets over in a period of 2 minutes. By doing these tests, you are identifying the source of bleed. Fast has become very pronounced in most of the emergency situations. Here you are going to identify whether there is a bleed in the abdomen or the pelvis or thorax by doing an ultrasound, finding out 10 structures through 4 windows. By a competent sonologist, you can identify these things in a period of 2 to 4 minutes. There's a drawback to it because it is operator dependent, but studies have shown that if it's a good sonologist, then sensitivity and specificity is high. But if your fast is negative in the initial period, don't go think that it is over. You have to repeat your scan after your period of resuscitation. The first thing in your resuscitation is pelvic sheeting. How you do, these are the diagrams how you do, but the most important point is it is applied at the level of the trochanter. It is very easy and quick, and it can be done at the bedside. The aim is to reduce the volume of the pelvis and provide a splint for both the bone and tissues. Whether you use a bed sheet or a ready-made one, it doesn't matter, the result, the function is the same. It has been shown that the sheeting is as good as an external fixator. So the usage of fixator in the emergency department has come down, and the bed sheet technique has, the usage has improved much more. Now, in a hemodynamically unstable patient, you have sheeted the patient, you have done a fast examination, you have started your transfusion, and if your fast is positive, then you shift.
Suppose that any slope is there, then you have shear forces acting on the joint. The shear force is not good for any joint. We have two components. Joint alignment, that refers to the collinearity of hip, knee and ankle, and joint orientation refers to the position of each articular surface to the axis. This should be parallel to the ground always. And hip joint orientation points, how to identify.
Is osteotomy rules. I will go with a word, deformity transformed. So, what is the definition of the deformity? Any departure from normal bone or joint anatomy is a deformity. And the pain you carry when you have a deformity. So, baby is asking, I am living, and if you get as far as I am, just maybe you will see how strong I really am. So, same points about decision making. Where is deformity? How does the patient perceive the problem? If patient has no problem, then don't touch the patient. What is the biology? What is the etiology? What is the consequences? What is the sequelae of this deformity? That you have to be in mind. And how can I correct? Up to what extent and how? And what device I should use? So, there are two rules which there is no problem that cannot be made worse with an operation. If you are not experienced in deformity correction, if you touch the patient, you put the patient in a bed for a permanent. You should think carefully before you bond with a patient through surgery. And there are some problems that cannot be helped by an orthopedic surgeon. Mental depression, patient drama. And never let your patient tell you how to do an operation. This is the biggest dogma of deformity correction. If you say that Elizarov frame will last for 1 year, I want to do it within 3 months, then it is not possible. So never let your patient dictate your things. So this is a simple Hargenberg formula. Measure the mechanical axis deviation, same Arvind has elaborated. Analyze the joint angle, pick the deformed bone. Which bone is deformed? After this, you point the apex of the deformity and you decide where to cut, how to cut, and what sort of usually osteotomy is transverse only, and then correcting motors. So these are the sequelae of the deformity. No doubt it is PALEY, my guru, Dr. Dror Pele. Deformity we has pain, arthritis, limp, he has got maximum energy consumption and psychodepression. So same thing, where is the deformity? How does the patient perceive the problem? What is the biology of the problem? So where is the deformity? Arvind has already detailed everything. So there are 6 factors: angulation, rotation, translation, shortening, and combining all this. So you have to take care of mother biology. And there are 5 magnitudes of the deformity that you have to note. What is the plane of deformity? Frontal, sagittal, or both together, that means oblique. What is the direction? There are sagittal direction, there are coronal direction. Which bone is affected and which joint is sequeled and which segment, how far is the distance from the joint line? That is the main juxta articular. And where is the apex of the deformity? What is the magnitude? What is the extent of the deformity? So my presentation today based on osteotomy rules, how to make hinges.
Once you apply traction over here, this is calcanean traction, you can mark with these needles, prepare a ring, just keep open anteriorly, and you can, to save the time, because you have applied already calcanean traction, you cannot pass ring, complete rings, then you have to open it anteriorly. Now connect it. For proximal tibia fracture, you have to reduce fracture, elevate depressed fragment, then pass wires. Don't pass wire before reducing all fragments. Adjust length and rotation, then fix wire to distal rings. When you are going to fix distal ring with one wire, first reduce everything. Rotation and angulation, then fix the distal wire to the distal ring. Try to reduce all fracture with minimum wires, because if you are passing more wires, you will not be able to reduce most of the fragments. For posterior-medial posterolateral fragment, pass wire in extension and use olive wire for both sides and apply tension together. Don't apply tension in one side for olive wires.
45-minute workshop will be on a frame for tibia. So you just make a prefabricated construct, 3 rings will be enough for a workshop, open it like a book, pass it over the tibia and pass the wires. And the last is stack frame, where you are going to pass 2 talar wires, 2 calcaneal wires, 1 half ring in the front of the ankle, 1 half ring in the back of calcaneum, and join up and make a stack frame. All these 3 you can go back and use in your practice from tomorrow if you have the Elizarov apparatus. Normally, as the workshops and lectures happen in the same place, we would demonstrate on the stage and then we would let them do it as a lead in after the lecture. Here we have clubbed all the lectures together and all the workshops together. There might be some time lag memory lapses which might have made you forget certain important points. So all the 5 faculty will be in that hall only, sharing 2 tables, and you can ask for actual doubts. You can have a coffee on the way. Each table has got enough hardware for you to play around till evening. You have got a battery operated drill on which you can poke it in, and you can go ahead and start working. I would now like Dr. Yunus to give you a very short 5-minute description of what you are supposed to do in the first workshop, Dr. Kirpat in the third workshop, and Dr. Prasad in the second workshop. Yunus, come.
So you all got the points, basic points right already. You should pass a radial ulnar wire, you should pass a pure radial wire, then you should pass the metacarpal wires, achieve ligamototaxis. And according to the deformity, you connect the hinges and correct it. So this has already been told. Done.
I have not mentioned about stack frame. So first is talar wire. You have to palpate the navicular. Just it is not possible on silicon mode. At the where the navicular ends, you have to put a point with a CM direction. You put a wire which is perpendicular to the tibial scene or foot palm plantar aspect. You put another second wire parallel to it with the same hole from the ring, another next hole from the ring. That will be the first talar base. Now third and fourth wire. That's the point. At the where the navicular ends, you have to pass the wire. That's all. It's a base of the head. Second wire will be at the junction of the neck and body. Now third is calcaneum wire. Calcaneum wire will first go from depending on the varus or valgus of the fracture displacement, fragment displacement, where you are holding the reduction of varus or valgus. That will be better be demonstrated on the model only. So I will show you there only. Okay.
For tibia frame, you imagine you have any pathology in the mid shaft of tibia. Then make 4-ring frame. First ring that should be just perpendicular to the knee joint line. Pass wire, first wire to center of tibia at the level of the head of fibula, from lateral to medial, parallel to the knee joint line. Then connect this ring. Then add another two rings. Then go to the last ring. In last ring you pass same wire, center of tibia, 2 centimeter proximal to the ankle joint. Connect this ring and connect all rings. Then reduce the fracture, whatever pathology is there, and then connect all the rings, then pass second wires into all rings. Okay? This is the way.
Okay. Now we can all go by the back door. Reach the hall. You have any specific questions before the start of the workshop, you can ask now. And once you start the workshop, any specific questions, you ask us there. Now we have not distributed you according to tables. Choose any table and 8 to 10 of you get on each table. Alright? Let's see you there in 5 minutes. With
our President TOSA, Dr. Sudarshan. Today's chief guest, Sri Puvat Ajay Kumar Paskar Garu to accompany dignitary. Garu, Vice President IOA. Sir, please come on to the dais. I request Dr. Srinivas sir to accompany. I request our Secretary IOA, Dr. Atul Srivastava Garu, to come on to the dais. I request Dr. Hanuman sir to accompany him.
శ్రీనివాస్ రెడ్డి గారు, ఆనరబుల్ ఎమ్మెల్యే శ్రీ పువ్వాడ అజయ్ కుమార్ గారు, ఐఓఏ సెక్రటరీ అతుల్ శ్రీవాత్సవ గారు, ఐఓఏ వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ డాక్టర్ బి శివశంకర్ గారు, డాక్టర్ విజయ్ చంద్రరెడ్డి గారు, టోసా ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఎలెక్ట్ డాక్టర్ ఎంఎస్ రెడ్డి గారు, టోసా జనరల్ సెక్రటరీ డాక్టర్ పి సుధీర్ కుమార్, టోసాకాన్ ఆర్గనైజింగ్ చైర్మన్ డాక్టర్ పిఎన్ఎస్ ప్రసాద్, and TOSA Organizing Secretary Dr. B. Srinivasrao. Good evening to all. I welcome you all to this academic event. As you know, this is the 4th annual conference of Telangana Orthopedic Surgeons Association, but it is the first ever state level orthopedic conference in our Khammam district. It's a wonderful feeling to see all the great stalwarts of orthopedics from all over the India who made efforts to reach Khammam despite the lack of air connectivity. All this credit goes to the chairman of this conference, Dr. P.N.S. Prasad. Dr. Prasad, with his quest for knowledge and determination, became a well-known Elizaro surgeon. It is Dr. Prasad who made Khammam synonymous with Elizaro. His popularity among his peers is one of the reasons why I believe brought in so many stalwarts to Khammam. I was born and brought up in Khammam and has been practicing as consultant orthopedic surgeon at Khammam for the past 23 years. It was my long pending dream to organize a state level conference in this very town of the Khammam. So, you know how special it is, this meet is to me. I am privileged to complete this task and honored to be a part of organizing team of this first ever state level orthopedic conference in our Khammam district. I have to say this would not have been possible without the help of Khammam Orthopedic Association and Department of Orthopedics, Mamata Medical College. It's a teamwork, the cooperation from all my senior and junior colleagues which really brought this conference to life. This is occasion has given us the great opportunity to felicitate some of our teachers from whom we learned the ABC, if I may say, flesh and bones of orthopedics. This is also an occasion to thank to the senior ortho colleagues who has been delivering the services to Khammam district long before we joined them. Last but not the least, my message for the younger generation who probably will be introduced faster to the latest innovations in the field of orthopedics than us to continue this academic work where we share, care, learn from each other. We will do our best to make this event a memorable one and hope you all will enjoy this 2.5 days conference. Namaskar and Dhanyavad.
Dignitaries on the dais, the Chief Guest Sri Pongaleti Srinivas Reddy Garu, Member of Parliament, Sri Ajay Kumar Garu, MLA, and Dr. B. Shivshankarji, Vice President, Indian Orthopedic Association. The guest of honor, Dr. Atul Srivastavaji, Secretary IOA, and Dr. Vijay Chandra Reddy, Past Secretary General, OASIS, and Vice President TOSA, MS Gaur, and Secretary P. Sudhir Kumar, and the organizing chairman, Dr. PSNV Prasad, organizing president Hanuman, and organizing secretary, Dr. Srinivas. It is an honor to me to address the huge gathering as the president of Telangana Orthopedic Association. It was an eventful year and had an opportunity to chair many educative events like CCT at Hyderabad by Trauma Society of India, CISA Life Surgery Workshop, Ortho-Oncology CME at NIMS, Arthroscopy and Arthroplasty Summit at Apollo Secunderabad, OASIS Annual CME, Cadaveric Workshop and shoulder arthroplasty at Gandhi Hospital. There were many events done under aegis of TOSA by Usmania, Gandhi, Kamineni, Apollo, and Max Cure and KIMS, and a few other hospitals. And from my side in Nizamabad, we had a lot of CMAs addressed by the state faculty and the central faculty, and we had the opportunity to hear Mr. Ramesh ji. And we had live workshops and also hands-on workshop on proximal humerus and tibia. In present, the organization has 558 members and 36 associate members. The need of hour is strengthening the organization by enrolling new members. And I request the doctors who are not enrolled to enter the organizations as members and PGs as associate members. And I request the heads of departments and professors of medical colleges to advise their PGs to register as associate members. And I think we should have a calendar for the academics so that each event has some space so that fellowship can be more. This year, unfortunately, we had few events were held on a single day. My sincere advice to young orthopedic surgeons to master in subspecialties like arthroplasty, spine surgery, hand surgery and pediatric surgery, and my advice to them to have group practice under single roof. As a single man, show does not work out at the present scenario. And to the kind attention of MP Garu and MLA Garu, when we passed out as orthopedician, there are only 9 to 10 doctors coming out in every year. Now I think 200 doctors are passing out every year. Now 200 doctors are coming out every year. The government can take a good initiative and utilize their services so that doctors can have better placements and good opportunities. On behalf of TOSA, congratulate and thank Khammam Orthopedic Surgeons team led by Dr. Prasad, Dr. Srinivas Rao and Dr. Hanuman and their members for hosting this state conference in a big way. I appreciate and thank all the doctors for their sincere participation, make the event successful. Thank you all. Long live IOA and long live TOSA. Release of souvenir by
I thank our TOSA Vice President, IOA Vice President, Dr. B. Shivshankar Garu, who is eminent speaker, conducted many workshops all over the India, to be here from Solapur to deliberate his talks tomorrow also. I thank Shivshankar sir and I thank Dr. Atul Srivastava Garu, who came from headquarters IOA Delhi. He is staying with us for 2 days. Since 2 months, he promised to our TOSA members that I will attend this TOSACon, and he is very generous to our TOSA, participating in many activities. I thank Dr. Srivastava Garu. and I thanks our past Oasis President, Dr. P. Vijay Chandra Reddy Garu, who is versatile in all fields. He is a politician. He was a past IMM Vice President and politician, and he is heartfelt to the public of Warangal. I thanks Sir Vijay Chandra Reddy sir. Our President TOSA, Dr. Hari Prasad sir, who is from Nizamabad, who came to the TOSA meetings frequently and guided us to conduct these TOSA successfully. I thanks Sri Hari Prasad sir. And our TOSA elected President, Dr. M.S. Gaud Garu, who is a great teacher and working in now Medicity Hospital, who guided us for scientific committee also. I thanks Dr. M.S. Gaud sir. And our TOSA General Secretary, P. Sudhir Kumar, who is dynamic and continuously for 4 years, he is the General Secretary of the TOSA and future President of our TOSA, who guided us to conduct this TOSA con. I thanks Dr. Sudhir Garu. And I thank our organizing chairman, Dr. PNV S. Prasad Garu, who is the backbone and pillar of this TOSA con to organize in Khammam, who is also eminent speaker from our Khammam to the nation. He participated in many national-wide and international-wide talks, who represented our Khammam to the nation. I thank Dr. PNV Prasad Garu and our organizing president, who worked a lot for this TOSA conference. I thank Dr. Hanuman also. And last, all the delegates who came from all the way from both Telugu states and from other states to hear this and to participate and to interact with eminent speakers. I thank, and all the press media people who are also here, I thank to coverage this press media, and I thank one and all. Now all participate in this conference dinner. Thank you one and all.